Good morning. I welcome you this morning to this 9 at 9. Once again, I'm coming to you from my backyard in Albany. I am Pastor Lori Kochanski. I am the assistant to the Bishop for Faith Formation, and I am glad to be with you this Friday morning. Before I came on, I did some stretching, just waking up my body and my mind because I had a hard time sleeping last night. Actually, I was awake in the middle of the night, and what woke me up is thoughts of parasailing. Again, weird dreams right now for me. I'm sure I've shared that on here with you before, but yeah, I woke up in the middle of the night reliving an experience of parasailing. Now, I had always wanted to go parasailing. When I was in high school, we went to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and I really wanted to go. But by the time my parents agreed to pay for it and to let me do this, the wind was never right. Every day, the wind was never right. So in that trip, I didn't get to go parasailing. It was several years later that I was on a trip with a friend and her sister, both of my friends, and there was parasailing, and so I was going to do it. We went out in the boat, and the people who were giving that tour, that boat ride that were going to lift me up into the sky, gave me just a few directions. They strap you into this harness. If you've never done it before, they strap you into a harness, and they attach the harness is the losing the word. Well, it's what carries you up in the sky. The sail, I guess, is the word for it. They give you, like I said, a few instructions, but the one that sticks with me, and I woke up remembering in the middle of the night, was to not hold on to the straps. Now, I remember thinking that was the silliest thing I had heard, because how else would I ground myself? And what he explained was the wind was doing all the work, the straps were secure, and that my holding on had nothing to do with my safety or security. And he looked at me and reminded me, you will have no control. Perhaps that's why I was awakened last night in the middle of the night, remembering that parasailing experience. And that very clear knowledge in that very fantastic moment, because it was fantastic. Because after I got over the initial shock of I don't have any control, I thought, wow, I don't have any control. Yet I'm going to lift above these beautiful waters and be able to see things I've never seen before. He told me that if I did hang on, that I would be jerked here and there and there and there, but that if I let go and leaned into it, then I would experience peace, clarity, and I wouldn't be jerked around so much. So I did it. I put my hands way out and didn't hold on. First I tried a little bit, and I did experience that jerking motion. But when I was able to let go and to realize that the thing I had control over was my own self, my own approach, I could have held on anyway. It wouldn't have harmed me or the experience. But I'm so glad I was able to discern what was mine to control and what I needed to trust the wind to carry, what I needed to trust others to secure for me. Perhaps another reason I woke up in the middle of the night thinking about control and what my role is in it is that this week's spiritual practice for me, as I have discerned it, is one of recognizing and noticing in myself, of finding that way to release the illusion of control, so that I can really get to the root of my place in the order of things. And by things this week, friends, I mean justice. Today's spiritual practice is one that I have been living this week myself. of discerning what to do with the power I do have, and the control I do have, and the authority I do have. And before you say you have none, I beg you to take this on as a practice yourself, to sit and center yourself sometime today or tomorrow, whenever is right, and to notice in yourself what you're hanging on to and jerking you around that's really not real control at all, so that you can uncover the authority and power you do have in this world. And as a Lutheran Christian, as a human being, as I have discerned my place and my privilege and my authority, I keep landing on issues around justice, justice for all people, and my place and privilege and control in those situations and scenarios. And my friends, I am here to say we all have control to act and do in ways that reflect Jesus' call for us to live neighbor justice. So I pray you, as you strip away the illusions that you have of control of things and this disease that's rampant in our world, and you really sit with what you can change and who you are, I beg of you to notice Jesus' call in you, for you, with you, to neighbor justice, in particular around issues of race, injustice and justice, and your role in that place of things. For me, what it is beginning to look like as a spiritual practice, and this is a spiritual practice, it's the most essential one, to notice who God is calling you to be and to act from that place. For me, what it means, and maybe you won't see it in my social media posts, or maybe you won't even notice it, but for me what it means is every day I do intentional acts to counteract the privilege of being born with this color skin. Sometimes it's reading, sometimes, yes, it's giving money, which maybe doesn't solve anything or isn't as flashy or noticeable. Sometimes it's standing with my siblings in Christ, literally. Sometimes it's finding people to hold me accountable for my actions and my words. It's for having those built-in systems so that I can do anti-racism work on myself without burdening further my friends who have carried that burden since the day they were born. So this week, spiritual practices to discern what you can control and can't, and to notice in that space of letting go of the things that are out of your realm of control, noticing what your place is in the family of things, the family of history, the family of place. And for discerning also what a spiritual practice of living neighbor justice might look like for you. It's going to look different for all of us. But I believe if we all do our part, there will be a shift and a change. And if we lift up those who are carrying more than their part, there will be a systemic shift and change. This is a lot on a Friday morning. But it's a burden we are called on to bear. It's a lament that I have that we continue to need to have these conversations, but we do. So perhaps find a conversation partner to start with. Talk to your pastor. I guarantee that if your pastor is following their call of ministry, these kind of conversations are a welcome change to perhaps what they are dealing with on a daily basis. Conversations about justice. If you don't have anyone to Talk to me, because my job would be worth nothing. It would be worth nothing if I, in my role as a person of helping with faith formation, didn't leave room for these important foundational conversations about who we are and whose we are, and what it means to live grace. Because by grace alone we are saved, yes. It means we don't have to do anything, but it gives us room and opportunity to discern our spiritual place. And for me, that place is living at that intersection of where our faith meets the world, and finding what we can control and living into that. And often that place of control leads us to who God truly wants us to be. So my friends, this Friday, my blessing is this: may your heart and your hands and your feet and your eyes and your ears and your nose and your mouth proclaim God's justice wherever you are, whoever you are. May you loosen your hold on the things you can't control, so there is room and space for you to notice what God is calling you to be about in this world. May this day, these days, be what you need them to be. And in all of this, be well, dear friends.